Hema committee report has taken us by a storm, but this is not the first time, and will it be the last time is something, a question that is being floated. And we have one person, very important person, who is a big part of Tamil cinema, who was also a member of NCW. Khushbu Sundar, thank you so much for speaking to us, ma'am. So what is your view on Hema committee report?
I think this is the tip of the iceberg. I think we were waiting for something like this to explode. Uh, but I also would like to say that, it happens in every industry. We need a HEMA committee report or this kind of a commission in every department wherever a woman works. Cinema industry is a very small industry, though it's the highest money generating industry. It's still a very small industry. It's not recognized by the government of India. So we are a very small industry. But when you look at these kind of problems, whether it is IT or you talk about hospitality or you talk about even your media or you talk about medical or you talk about aviation or even politics for that matter, a woman is subjected to this kind of abuse. Even a common woman, when she's going in a train or she's in a bus, she's abused. So I think we need to form at every workplace where a girl is working, we need to have this kind of a committee where women can approach and she can speak, at least, bring out the fears, because most of the women, they live in fear. So we need to bring them out and say that speak up. You don't have to live in fear. We need to form committees where women can actually come and talk.
So Kerala government created the HEMA committee report. But considering Tamil Nadu, like Kollywood is a much bigger industry, or even Bollywood, what kind of changes such kind of reports can bring there? Should they also constitute their own committee this way?
See, I think you need to understand to each his own whether they want to speak about it or not. I was brought up in this industry. I started working in cinema when I was 8 years old. I'm 54 today. So I was literally brought up in this industry. I have grown up in this industry. This industry is my family. So I'm not going to say that this happens in industry everywhere. You have these kind of incidents happening. And that's why I say women need to speak up. If anybody is giving you an indecent proposal, a woman has to stand up for herself rather than waiting for 15, 20 years or saying that some man will come up and speak on her behalf. No, she needs to stand up on her own. A woman has to be independent. At no given point, she has to compromise or she has to make an adjustment. No, you're talented, you will succeed. If not here, somewhere else. But you cannot allow anybody to walk over you and say that you belong to me or this is how I'm going to abuse you, this is how I'm going to treat you. One more thing is, if you compromise or you make adjustment once, that guilt is going to stay with you. It scars your soul. That guilt stays with you for lifelong. You never get over it. That I did something against my conscience, against my conscience, against my own will, because I wanted to be famous. So that's not going to stay with you. I think women need to understand that you always have a choice. Having said that, we also need to look into the other side. Many a times, women are not privileged where they can speak. First thing that grips them is fear. The second thing that grips them is, will the society believe me what I have said? Every time you see a woman is subjected to this kind of sexual violence or assault, there's a larger chunk of the society who says, what did you do to entice him?
Blame
Blame.
her.
They start shaming her, the victim shaming her. Why did you go at that hour? Why did you go and meet him? Why were you laughing? What did you do for him to approach you? Where did you go wrong? So the question is never asked for the men, that what gave him the courage to go and speak to a woman or ask for this kind of an indecent favors, or what made him speak to her in this way. So I think, that fear stays with a woman, that she will be shamed, she will not be accepted. Have been in NCW, so I know most of the cases or many of the cases are not true also. You have some women who want to settle personal scores, so these kind of false accusations also do come. We need to understand that every time a woman complains, there has to be a thorough investigation. Whoever that person might be, whichever position that person holds, whether if we talk about my film industry, whether he's a director, producer, or a second rung artist, or the main hero, or the villain, or somebody from the production, you need to have a committee where women can go and speak and name the person. Because if you're not going to name the person and say that in anonymity, I wanted to say that even I was subjected to this kind of an assault, that's not going to help anybody. You need to be strong enough to name them, but form a committee and have a thorough investigation. We need to investigate, and if the person is found guilty, the accused is found guilty, the punishment has to be an extremely severe punishment.
Uh, we earlier speak to a couple of survivors, including Chinmay also,
Yeah.
who clearly mentioned that like even the battle actually goes for several years. This wheel of the justice system moves very slowly, and by that time, a lot of opportunities are lost. She still claims that she has been banned from Tamil cinema dubbing industry as well. So this is a kind of fear they have. How to, I mean, get over this?
See, I don't think if see, I'm not part of the dubbing side, so I don't know if she's been banned or just that she thinks she is banned. I'm not too sure about that, so I wouldn't want to comment. But Chinmay has been doing some excellent work in Telugu cinema and other cinemas also. She's a brilliant singer, and my sympathies are with her. But I mean, I would say that we need to speak at the right time. We cannot talk about it once the water has flown over the bridge. It's a matter of survival. So you need to speak at the right time when it's required. So, yes, her fight is there. I hope she gets justice. I hope that there is a thorough investigation which goes into this. And let me tell you, if women think that compromising is going to give them job, no, it is not going to give them job. Nobody is a fool to spend crores or lakhs of rupees and say that just because this woman is nice to me or she's accepted my indecent proposal, I'm going to spend crores of money to make a film for her or to make an album for her, whatever the reason may be. So it doesn't work like that. You have to be talented.
You are a big part of Tamil cinema. So considering this, this is like much larger a face than Malayalam cinema. Is it right time for such a committee or something for the government to form in Tamil Nadu? I mean, for the Tamil cinema as well.
The government? See, my biggest problem or complaint all these years has been that the entire Indian film industry is not recognized by the government of India. We are not a recognized body, though we have the highest taxpayers. We are the highest uh, money grossing machinery in the country, entertainment business. We provide employment to thousands of workers, yet we find it extremely difficult to get loans. We find it extremely difficult to find houses on rent. The first thing when you're getting loan, it's the bank does not give you loan. There are like, what are the collaterals you're going to offer us? And until unless we are not recognized by the government of India, we will continue to talk. We will continue to have these discussions. There's going to be some dhamaka somewhere. We are going to sit and discuss for 2 days. Something else will come up. The audience has a very short memory. They're going to forget about it. Day after tomorrow, there's going to be some other problem. We'll take it and follow that. So my complaint has been the same. I think it's high time government of India recognizes Indian film industry and give us the status of an industry.
And one important aspect is that you also earlier mentioned that the people who have been subjugated to such kind of uh, violence must come and speak.
Yes.
But do you have any advice to them? Because like everybody we've come through, it takes a lot of years for them to even prepare to just say that this has happened.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Because the first thing for a woman when she's approached, when somebody speaks to her and says, "Okay, you need work, come to my room," or somebody says that make adjustments. Okay, the first thing she gets into a shock. Okay, that is the first thing. Somebody approach her because she's looking to do some work. She thinks she's talented. She can work. She can prove herself. You do not know the other side of the story. She has a family to take care. She has financial difficulties. or whatever the problems. And I say, like I said in my tweet also, now you have girls who come from very large affluent families. The girls themselves are very highly educated. They're gold medalist. Somebody is a doctor, somebody is a lawyer, somebody is a psychologist, somebody has done their MBA. So all these girls are very educated. There was a time when uh, women coming into cinema was a taboo. People would think that, array, girls from good families don't get into cinema. Okay. So I think, that stigma still remains. And until unless, she thinks that if I'm not going to adjust, probably I may not get work, that desperation that I have to make it somehow because I have a family waiting behind me, looking at me with hopes that I will bring in the food. I'm going to provide them with all the things they have been deprived of. So you never know the kind of trauma mentally this woman is going through, or what her own uh, pressures are, why she succumbs to these kind of pressures, which is given by some men in every industry, I would say. So I think, a woman needs to stand up for herself and speak at the right given time, because if you speak late first, you go through this trauma for years together, that I have been through this kind of an abuse, I have been used by somebody. That trauma stays with her, and trust me, it scars you for life. It scars you for life. You never ever get over it. Okay, they say time heals. Time heals, but the scars don't disappear. They don't fade away. The scars remain forever. So every time you look at the scar, you know you have been subjected to that kind of a violence. So I say speak up at the right time, because later, what are you going to prove? You cannot even say that somebody did something, because you do not even know whether it happened or not. And the times are changing, people's mindset are changing, and today's times with the social media, everybody wants to be a judge, the moral policing judge, that he or she is going to sit on the social media and decide whether you are the wronged one or you are the wrong one. So you why give them that space? I would tell the girls, do not ever compromise, because if not this, then something else. You always have a choice in life.
What if it was a dream? Many claim this to be their dream job, and that turns out to be an issue.
That's what I'm saying. Girls come from, a very underprivileged background, from small towns, with stars, with dreams of making it big in cinema. And when something like this happens, uh, it's terrible. But I still would like to tell them, if you are sure of your talent, industry is huge. And especially now, you have so many platforms to prove yourself. Just believe in yourself and don't give in to these kind of pressures, is all I would like to tell them.
Ma'am, when you
And if somebody sends you feelers that you need to adjust or compromise, raise your voice then and there itself.
when you mentioned about the social media, one thing we could clearly see after this issue came up, or Me Too as well, is that the people who are powerful, in this case we can say like superstars, be it any kind of, be it Tamil cinema, Malayalam cinema, none have actually given their voice out for this particular issue, and that is being questioned in social media. Would you like to say anything about that?
We're not answerable to people on social media, because 99% of them do not have original faces and original names. So I think actors, we do not have the responsibility to respond to the social media, where all they want to do is sit and respond. How many of them responded to this? They're already sitting down and raising questions. How many of them go out and speak? How many of them stand up and support the causes of women issues in our country? A woman is raped every day in this country. A child, 11-year-old child, does not know the difference between a good touch and bad touch until unless the teacher teaches them in the class. The child has been subjected to sexual abuse for 2 years, and the child does not even realize that. It's only when the teachers give her a lesson in what is good touch and bad touch, the child realizes that I have been sexually abused. How many of them stand up and support a woman when they see a woman being uh, molested or subjected to any kind of violence on the streets? A girl is going in a bus and somebody brushes against her wantedly. How many of the men, they look away The same people who are sitting on social media, they look away. They don't stand up. We do not have to stand up everything a Nirbhaya happens or every time Kolkata happens. We need to stand up every time. It's very easy to raise questions. Yes, I want everybody to stand up when issues come up like this. It's very saddening to see that most of the people do not stand up because they think it's not their problem. They do not want to get into unwanted controversies. But to me, being a woman and a mother and somebody who I say that I'm a very proud of my fraternity of cinema, if there is any kind of dirt in my home, I definitely need to clean that. And if it requires me to speak up as a solo member, as somebody who needs to speak up their minds, I'm ready to do that, because if my home is dirty, it's my responsibility to clean it.
And also that, just like you mentioned, not just this particular field, be it any field, but through NCRB also we are able to determine that any time a child is molested or it comes from a kind of a close relative or things like that. So we know the biggest problem, the biggest part of this problem is the male gender. What is the solution?
First, a mindset. We need to stop saying that the girls cannot go out at this time. Yes, as a mother, you feel that, okay, it's not safe. If my girls do not pick up the calls at after 10 p.m., I panic. Yes, I will not lie, and I'm not going to hide that. But when you bring up your sons, you need to tell them that how a woman has to be treated. If a boy is going to see his mother being subjected to any kind of assault, verbal or physical, sexual, with no respect or dignity, and if he grows up looking at her mother, looking at his mother, who has been silently enduring all the pain, he will grow up with a mentality thinking that it's fine to abuse a woman because she is never going to retaliate. So I think we need to start at home and tell a boy that this is not the way to treat. Every time a girl is subjected to any kind of violence, she has to stand up for herself, even if it happens to be her own brother, or her own father, her own husband, or her own family members, especially the male members. She has to speak up for herself. You cannot allow a woman to suffer. You cannot let a woman endure all the pain and say it's okay for me because I want my family to be intact. I do not want my family to break, so I'm going to tolerate all the nonsense and all the issues that are thrown at me.
uh, as you were an NCW member, you'll be the right person to give us this answer. The thing is that if a person wants to raise the voice, what is the actual procedure? Because for them, they're afraid of the law, they're afraid of like victim shaming and a lot of issues. So how should they go ahead and file a complaint, or what is the procedure?
See, the first thing what you can do is when you're filing, you have NCW, which is a National Commission for Women. You have State Commission for Women also. I think you need to come forward. It's not about that only people from lower strata or from a very backward class need to go and complain to this commission. This commission comes whether it's State Commission or it is about the National Commission. It does not come with a tagline that it is not for certain class of people. It's for everyone. So when you file a complaint, it is on anonymity. You do not, your names are not given out. We call them in privacy and we speak to them. We actually have a thorough investigation and then we go to the police. So I do not understand what holds back the women in complaining to any of these commission. And I think even if you do not want to go to the commission, first thing, learn to stand up for yourself is what I say. Stand up on your own feet. You dream to make it big. You dream to fly high. And if you're going to hold yourself back, if you're not going to spread your wings, you're going to fall. You're not going to, you need to fly, you need to spread your wings. But if you know that somebody is coming forward to cut your wings, what would you do? You need to retaliate. You need to answer them back. You need to stand up for yourself. So I think I want women to stand up for themselves. And I very, rightly read somewhere, and it was actually I had put it out on my Insta or social media, one of the social media also. People are going to judge you any which ways. So yeah, so just keep going on. What's stopping you? I mean, if somebody judges you on the streets, how is he related to you? Or how is his or her words going to affect you? There are nobody. They're judging because they don't have anything else to do. You know who you are, you know what you're made of, you know what kind of a person you are. So I don't think you need to even bother if somebody is going to judge me on any social platform or down the street.
One last question, ma'am. As you are a big part of Tamil cinema, is the field safe for women?
Absolutely safe for women. Absolutely. I have worked with some gem of people. My biggest supporters have been my co-stars. They have given me the support. They have given me, I would say, the kind of secured atmosphere. We are shooting on the streets. My light men, my production boys, my costumers, my makeup assistants, or you say even my stunt men, the assistant stunts or the fighters who are there, they have been my support system because they create that atmosphere. We used to sit in the middle of the street or perform a very probably very weird kind of movements and everything, but we were the kind of security they provided us that go ahead, we are around, nothing will happen to you. They would guide us. So I think it's a very very safe industry, and I say that you have these kind of stray incidents. One dead fish can contaminate the entire pond. So I would still like to tell people cinema industry is one of the most safest and the most beautiful industry people can ever come into.
And thank you so much. That was Khushbu Sundar, was very clearly mentioned that compromising will lead to scarring of your soul, and just stand up and talk is what she has said. Divya, Pramod Madhav for you today.